Turmeric. Your joints are screaming at you every morning like an angry alarm clock that refuses to hit snooze. Your back feels like it's been used as a punching bag by a heavyweight champion, and that nagging pain in your knees makes climbing stairs feel like conquering Mount Everest. If you're a man over 50 dealing with inflammation that's making your body feel like a rusty old machine, then turmeric might just be your golden ticket to feeling human again. This bright yellow spice isn't just something that makes your curry look fancy at the local Indian restaurant. Turmeric contains a powerful compound called curcumin, which acts like a microscopic firefighter rushing through your bloodstream to put out the flames of inflammation. Think of inflammation as a house fire that's been burning for years, slowly damaging everything in its path. Curcumin shows up with a fire hose, dousing those flames before they can cause more destruction to your joints, muscles, and organs. But here's the kicker that most people don't know about turmeric. Your body treats curcumin like that friend who shows up to the party, but leaves after 5 minutes. It gets absorbed poorly and exits your system faster than you can say anti-inflammatory. That's where black pepper comes into play, acting like the wingman that makes sure curcumin sticks around long enough to do its job. The compound piperine in black pepper increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Without it, you're basically throwing money down the drain and wondering why that expensive turmeric supplement isn't working. The science behind turmeric's inflammation-fighting powers reads like a medical textbook, but here's the simple version. As men age, our bodies start producing more inflammatory markers called cytokines. These little troublemakers are like gossiping teenagers, spreading rumors throughout your system, causing pain, swelling, and tissue damage. Curcumin steps in like the strict principal, shutting down the gossip mill and restoring order to your internal classroom. Research shows that men who regularly consume turmeric experience significant reductions in inflammatory markers, particularly C-reactive protein, which is like the smoke detector for inflammation in your body. When this protein level drops, it means the fire is being contained. One study found that men over 50 who took curcumin supplements for 8 weeks saw their inflammatory markers drop by 30%, which is better results than some prescription medications deliver. Ginger. While turmeric gets all the spotlight for fighting inflammation, ginger has been quietly working behind the scenes like the unsung hero of the spice world. This knobby root that looks like it belongs in a horror movie is actually one of nature's most effective anti-inflammatory weapons, especially for men dealing with age-related joint pain and muscle soreness. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols, which sound like they should be the name of a boy band, but are actually powerful inflammation fighters. These compounds work differently than the curcumin in turmeric, attacking inflammation through multiple pathways like a coordinated military strike. While turmeric goes after the inflammatory proteins directly, ginger blocks the enzymes that create inflammatory compounds in the first place, essentially cutting off the supply line before the battle even begins. The beauty of ginger lies in its versatility and immediate action. Unlike some anti-inflammatory compounds that take weeks to build up in your system, ginger starts working within hours of consumption. It's like having a fast response team that shows up the moment inflammation tries to crash your body's party. This makes it particularly for men dealing with exercise-effective induced inflammation or those sudden flare-ups that make you feel like you've been hit by a truck. What makes ginger especially valuable for men over 50 is its dual action on both acute and chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation is the immediate response your body has to injury or stress, like when you overdo it at the gym or sleep wrong and wake up with a crick in your neck. Chronic inflammation is the slow burn that's been building up over decades, gradually wearing down your joints and organs like water dripping on a stone. Studies specifically focusing on men in their 50s and 60s have shown remarkable results with regular ginger consumption. Participants who consumed just 1 gram of ginger daily for 12 weeks experienced a 45% reduction in inflammatory markers and reported significant improvements in joint pain and stiffness. That's roughly equivalent to a teaspoon of fresh grated ginger or half a teaspoon of dried ginger powder. The mechanism behind ginger's anti-inflammatory action involves blocking specific inflammatory pathways called cyclooxygenase and lipoxygenase. These enzymes are like the foremen at a construction site where inflammation is being built. When ginger blocks these foremen from doing their job, the entire inflammatory construction project gets shut down. This dual enzyme inhibition makes ginger particularly effective against the type of inflammation that affects joints and muscles. Cinnamon. Most guys think cinnamon's only job is to make their morning oatmeal taste less like cardboard, but this sweet-smelling bark is actually a stealth inflammation fighter that's been hiding in your spice cabinet all along. While you've been sprinkling it on your coffee or apple pie, cinnamon has been packing some serious anti-inflammatory punch that could help your aging body feel decades younger. Cinnamon contains over 40 different compounds that work together like a well-coordinated team to tackle inflammation from multiple angles. The star player in this lineup is cinnamaldehyde, the compound responsible for cinnamon's distinctive smell and most of its health benefits. Think of cinnamaldehyde as the team captain that rallies all the other compounds to mount an effective defense against inflammatory damage. What makes cinnamon particularly interesting for men over 50 is its ability to address inflammation at the cellular level while simultaneously helping regulate blood sugar. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at processing glucose, leading to blood sugar spikes that trigger inflammatory responses. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire every time you eat something sweet. Cinnamon acts like a buffer, smoothing out those blood sugar peaks and valleys while simultaneously dampening the inflammatory response. The type of cinnamon matters more than most people realize. Ceylon cinnamon, often called true cinnamon, contains higher levels of beneficial compounds and lower levels of coumarin, a compound that can be problematic in large doses. Cassia cinnamon, the type you'll find in most grocery stores, is still beneficial but should be used in moderation. It's like choosing between premium and regular gasoline for your car. Both will get you where you're going, but one performs better and is gentler on the engine. Research conducted on middle-aged men showed that consuming just half a teaspoon of cinnamon daily for 6 weeks resulted in measurable decreases in inflammatory markers, particularly those associated with cardiovascular inflammation. This is crucial for men over 50 because cardiovascular inflammation is often the silent killer that builds up over years without obvious symptoms until it's too late. Garlic. Garlic might make your breath smell like you've been wrestling with a vampire, but this pungent bulb is one of the most potent inflammation fighters nature has to offer. For men over 50 dealing with the accumulated inflammatory damage of decades, garlic provides a multifaceted approach to reducing inflammation while delivering additional cardiovascular and immune system benefits. The magic in garlic comes from sulfur compounds, particularly allicin, which is released when garlic is crushed or chopped. Allicin is like a molecular Swiss Army knife, equipped with multiple tools to combat inflammation, infections, and support overall fight health. However, allicin is also incredibly unstable, breaking down quickly when exposed to heat or air, which is why how you prepare and consume garlic makes all the difference in getting its anti-inflammatory benefits. The key to maximizing garlic's anti-inflammatory potential lies in proper preparation. When you crush or mince fresh garlic, you need to let it sit for about 10 minutes before cooking with it. This waiting period allows the allinase enzyme to convert alliin into allicin, the compound that does the heavy lifting against inflammation. Most guys just toss garlic straight into the pan without this crucial step, essentially wasting most of the anti-inflammatory benefits. For men dealing with chronic inflammation, garlic offers something unique that other spices don't provide in the same way. It helps modulate your immune system's response to inflammatory triggers, acting like a traffic cop, directing immune cells where they need to go and when they need to back off. This immune modulation is particularly important as we age because our immune systems can become overactive, attacking healthy tissue along with actual threats. Studies focusing on men in their 50s have shown that consuming 2 to 3 cloves of fresh garlic daily can reduce inflammatory markers by up to 25% within just 4 weeks. The participants also experienced improvements in blood pressure and cholesterol levels, creating a cascading effect of health benefits that extend far beyond just inflammation reduction. Cayenne pepper. Most men think cayenne pepper exists solely to punish their taste buds and make them sweat through their shirts. But this fiery spice is actually working overtime to cool down the inflammatory fires burning throughout your body. The compound responsible for cayenne's heat, capsaicin, is the same substance that makes it a powerful inflammation fighter, proving that sometimes the medicine that helps you most is the one that makes you suffer a little for stace and works through. Cap's a fascinating mechanism that initially seems counterintuitive. When you first consume cayenne, it actually triggers a mild inflammatory response, causing your body to release substance P, a neurotransmitter involved in pain signaling. But here's where it gets interesting. After this initial response, your nerve endings become depleted of substance P, essentially creating a natural pain relief and anti-inflammatory effect that can last for hours. This process is like controlled burning that Forest Services use to prevent larger fires. By creating a small, manageable inflammatory response initially, cayenne actually trains your body to better handle inflammation overall. For men over 50 dealing with chronic joint pain or muscle soreness, this can provide significant relief without the side effects associated with conventional anti-inflammatory medications. The anti-inflammatory effects of cayenne extend beyond just joint and muscle pain. Regular consumption has been shown to reduce systemic inflammation markers, particularly those associated with metabolic inflammation that becomes more common as men age. This type of inflammation is often linked to weight gain around the midsection, insulin resistance, and increased cardiovascular risk. Research indicates that men who regularly consume foods containing capsaicin experience improved circulation, reduced inflammatory markers, and enhanced metabolic function. The key is consistency rather than intensity. You don't need to torture yourself with ghost pepper levels of heat to get the benefits. Even mild amounts of cayenne consumed regularly can provide measurable anti-inflammatory effects. Rosemary? While most guys only encounter rosemary when it's scattered on top of roasted potatoes at Sunday dinner, this aromatic herb is actually one of nature's most concentrated sources of anti-inflammatory compounds. Rosemary contains powerful antioxidants like rosmarinic acid and carnosic acid that work together to combat inflammation, while simultaneously protecting your cells from the oxidative damage that accelerates aging. What makes rosemary particularly valuable for men over 50 is its ability to cross the blood-brain barrier, providing anti-inflammatory benefits directly to brain tissue. As we age, neuroinflammation becomes an increasing concern, contributing to cognitive decline, memory issues, and mood changes. Rosemary acts like a maintenance crew for your brain, reducing inflammatory damage while supporting healthy neural function. The compounds in rosemary work by inhibiting the production of inflammatory enzymes while simultaneously boosting your body's natural antioxidant systems. It's like having both a fire extinguisher and a sprinkler system working together to prevent and control inflammatory damage. This dual action makes rosemary particularly effective against the type of chronic, low-level inflammation that builds up over decades. Fresh rosemary contains higher concentrations of active compounds compared to dried, but both forms provide significant anti-inflammatory benefits. The key is using it regularly rather than just occasionally. Adding fresh rosemary to your meals 3 to 4 times per week can provide measurable reductions in inflammatory markers within just a few weeks. Oreg like Gustano. Oregano might seem another pizza topping, but this Mediterranean herb packs more anti-inflammatory punch per gram than many prescription medications. The compounds responsible for oregano's distinctive flavor, particularly carvacrol and thymol, are potent inflammation fighters that have been shown to reduce inflammatory markers more effectively than some conventional treatments. What sets oregano apart from other anti-inflammatory spices is its incredible concentration of active compounds. Oregano oil contains such high levels of these beneficial substances that it's often sold as a supplement rather than just a cooking ingredient. However, the dried herb you can buy at any grocery store still contains significant amounts of these powerful compounds. Carvacrol, oregano's primary active compound, works by blocking the inflammatory cascade at multiple points, essentially throwing multiple wrenches into the machinery that produces inflammation. It inhibits the production of inflammatory cytokines while simultaneously boosting your body's natural anti-inflammatory systems. This makes oregano particularly effective against the type of systemic inflammation that affects multiple organs and systems throughout the body. For men dealing with digestive inflammation, which becomes more common with age, oregano provides additional benefits through its antimicrobial properties. It helps maintain reducing inflammatory healthy gut bacteria while responses in the digestive tract, creating a foundation for better overall health and reduced systemic inflammation. Black pepper. Black pepper is the unsung hero sitting right there on your dinner table, disguised as a simple seasoning while secretly harboring some of the most potent anti-inflammatory compounds known to science. The same substance that makes black pepper hot, piperine, is responsible for its remarkable ability to reduce inflammation while simultaneously enhancing the absorption of other beneficial compounds. Piperine works through a unique mechanism that sets it apart from other anti-inflammatory spices. Rather than just fighting inflammation directly, it acts like a molecular enhancer, increasing the bioavailability and effectiveness of other anti-inflammatory compounds by up to 2,000%. This makes black pepper the ultimate wingman in your anti-inflammatory arsenal. But what makes black pepper truly special for men over 50 is how it addresses inflammation at the absorption level. Most anti-inflammatory compounds you consume get broken down by your liver before they can do their job, like having a security guard who throws out the good guys along with the bad guys. Piperine essentially bribes that security guard to let the beneficial compounds through, ensuring they reach the tissues where inflammation is causing the most damage. The mechanism behind piperine's effectiveness involves inhibiting certain enzymes in your liver and intestines that normally break down beneficial compounds. It's like having a protective escort that ensures the anti-inflammatory compounds you consume actually make it to their destination, rather than getting lost along the way. This is why traditional medicine systems have paired black pepper with other healing spices for thousands of years. Research shows that men who consume just a quarter teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper daily experience measurable improvements in the absorption of anti-inflammatory compounds from their diet. The key is using freshly ground pepper rather than the pre-ground stuff that's been sitting in your spice cabinet since the Clinton administration. Fresh grinding releases more piperine and ensures maximum potency. Cloves. Cloves might remind you of your grandmother's ham or that weird tea your dentist recommended, but these tiny flower buds pack more anti-inflammatory power per ounce than almost any other spice on the planet. The compound responsible for cloves' distinctive aroma and numbing sensation, eugenol, is the same substance that makes them incredibly effective at reducing inflammation throughout your body. Eugenol works like a molecular bouncer, blocking inflammatory compounds from causing damage while simultaneously providing pain relief. This dual action makes cloves particularly valuable for men dealing with inflammatory conditions that cause both pain and tissue damage. It's like having a bodyguard who not only keeps trouble away but also helps clean up any mess that troublemakers leave behind. What makes cloves especially interesting for men over 50 is their incredible antioxidant capacity. They contain more antioxidants than blueberries, more than green tea, and more than almost any other food you can eat. These antioxidants work hand in hand with the anti-inflammatory compounds to prevent the cellular damage that accumulates over decades of living. The concentration of active compounds in cloves is so high that you only need tiny amounts to get significant benefits. Just a quarter teaspoon of ground cloves contains enough eugenol to provide measurable anti-inflammatory effects. However, because cloves are so potent, more isn't necessarily better. Using too much can actually cause stomach irritation in some people. Studies focusing on middle-aged men have shown that regular consumption of small amounts of cloves can reduce inflammatory markers by up to 30% within 6 weeks. The participants also reported improvements in joint pain and overall energy levels, suggesting that the anti-inflammatory effects translate into real-world benefits that you can actually feel. Cardamom. The cardamom pods sitting in your spice drawer aren't just there to make your chai taste exotic. This aromatic spice from the ginger family contains compounds that fight inflammation with the precision of a surgical strike team. The primary active compounds in cardamom, including cineol and alpha-terpineol, work by blocking specific inflammatory pathways while supporting your body's natural detoxification processes. What sets cardamom apart from other anti-inflammatory spices is its ability to target inflammation in the respiratory system, which becomes increasingly important as men age. The same compounds that give cardamom its distinctive aroma help reduce inflammatory responses in lung tissue, making it easier to breathe and potentially reducing the risk of respiratory complications that become more common after 50. Cardamom also provides unique benefits for metabolic inflammation, the type that contributes to insulin resistance and weight gain around the midsection. Regular consumption has been shown to improve glucose metabolism while simultaneously reducing the inflammatory markers associated with metabolic syndrome. It's like having a metabolic reset button that helps your body process nutrients more efficiently while keeping inflammatory responses in check. The beauty of cardamom lies in its gentle yet effective approach to reducing inflammation. Unlike some spices that work through intense mechanisms, cardamom provides steady, sustained anti-inflammatory benefits without causing digestive upset or other side effects. Studies show that men who consume just half a teaspoon of ground cardamom daily experience measurable reductions in inflammatory markers within 4 weeks. There you have it, 10 inflammation fighting spices that have been hiding in plain sight, waiting to transform your aging body from a creaky machine into a well oiled engine. Your kitchen cabinet just became your personal pharmacy, and the best part is that these natural remedies actually taste good while they heal you from the inside out. Heal you from the inside out. Heal you from the inside out.